This cute purple gumdrop is the Volkswagen Polo Life, and it's the smallest hatchback in Volkswagen's local range. This one's an auto, but there is a manual version if you want to save a few dollars. It competes with other compact hatchbacks like the Toyota Yaris, Kia Rio and Mazda 2. I've had it for a week with my family to see if it would suit our family life, so stay watching to see how it performed. Let's be honest, if you're looking at this for a family car, then you either need something or want something that's small on the outside. But does that mean that the inside is going to be too cramped? Let's jump straight in to see how big it is and what we can do with the space. The front has good headroom and legroom, and the wide width of the front doors means it's pretty easy to get in and out of. But the lower height of the car made me feel like I was getting in my daily quota of squats. Because of my seating position, the windscreen feels narrow and the rear view mirror sits quite low, even for me. It did mean that when I was coming down hills, I felt like I was sort of bending around to look around it, which isn't the greatest. The storage up front is about average for a car of this size. You've got a good sized glove box. This center console is tall and skinny, and you have a drink holder in each door. These cup holders are skinny as well, but the hexagon shape really hugs a cup nicely. You have a wireless charging pad in this deep cubby, as well as 2 USB-C ports. The multimedia screen and sat-nav have been simple to use, and the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto have been great. These seats are firm, but the bucket style do hug you when you zip around town. Cloth isn't always practical for my family, but I do like the texture and color of these. They adjust manually, and they also have adjustable lumbar support. The digital instrument panel looks high-tech and can be customized when you option the tech pack that this car has, which just makes it feel like your own. The buttons and dials are quite basic, but it suits the minimalist design inside, and everything is where you expect it to be, but it is missing an easy-to-access button that turns off the lane keeping aid, which I missed because the assist is quite firm. The back seat is where you really feel that this is a base model. There's not a lot happening back here in terms of storage or comfort. There's not much legroom back here, and I'm behind my driving position and I'm 168 centimeters tall. I would be pretty smooshed if someone taller was driving, but there is an okay amount of headroom. There's map pockets and storage bins in each door. You have no directional air vents back here though, but you do have 2 USB-C ports, which is always handy. I did notice that my 5-year-old put a few shoe marks on the back of the seat because there's no durable kick plate, which I would have liked to have seen. But the lower height did mean that he was able to climb in and out of his seat with relative ease. The biggest test for me was the real-world placement of child seats though, because there's outboard ISOFIX mounts and 3 top tether child seat mounts, but realistically you're only going to fit 2 child seats back here. It was a cinch to fit my harness booster seat, but really awkward to fit a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat for a few reasons. Firstly, the width of the door means you're angling it in, and secondly, you have to really push the front seat forward to even get it into position. Thirdly, having a seat installed encroaches on the front passenger's legroom. I'm really uncomfortable being this close to the dash, and I was nowhere near my driver's position when it was installed on the other side. Personally, I wouldn't want to compromise on my driving comfort or safety just to fit in a car seat. The back seat is really only suitable for older kids. I don't feel like there's enough comfort or amenities back here to suit teenagers or adult passengers, especially on longer trips, but on short trips, I think it'd be okay. The boot is a good size for a hatchback, and you will fit a pram or large luggage, but not at the same time. You can pop the back seat down and the space more than doubles, which offers flexibility for storage for gear, but not for people. There's a space saver tire, and I like that you can lower this cargo floor down to make it deeper. This doesn't have a power tailgate, but the lid isn't heavy to close, and I quite like that the badge doubles as a door handle. Just adds a cool design factor. So that's the interior cupboard. Let's take a look at the exterior and the design. Volkswagen hasn't done much to the design, but it's popular for a reason. It's inoffensive, smart looking, and has enough detailing that it's not boring. These pinched lines going the length of the car and this compact but sharp nose hints that it's not the typical Nana errand car, but it's still safe play compared to the designs on some other hatchbacks that's starting to come out. The inside isn't going to wow you with the plushness, but even though this is the base model, it doesn't feel basic, at least not in the front.
The dashboard is quite lovely, and the little arrows against the piano black look a bit like shark's teeth and add much needed edginess to the interior. The digital instrument panel and 8-inch touchscreen have been well integrated and nestle nicely.
The Life is available in 6 colours, and all but one will cost you an extra $600. There are some cool options though, like this purple one, which makes it really stand out in that sea of grey and white in a parking lot. I like it, but I sort of felt like Willy Wonka when I first drove it. I'm also really digging that this is one of the few cars that I can see the roof of. The Polo Life has a tiny little engine and automatic transmission, but it still feels supple and smooth to drive. Surprising, but the stop-start feature isn't very graceful. When you start slowing down, it starts kicking in, and then when you put your foot down to go, there's a lag as that process stops. If it bothers you, you can turn this feature off. It feels powerful, and even though the stop-start is sometimes lagging, it's pretty zippy around town. And the cabin is quiet, which is always a bonus. The steering wheel is nice under my hands, and the steering itself is direct and responsive. And I love the turning circle in this. You can really navigate tight spaces and winding roads with ease. And on the highway and in the country, it handles the roads really well. The Polo is ridiculously easy to park, and you can fit into sneaky spaces that would normally evade you. This was particularly handy around my son's school. I also like that the reversing camera view just fills the entire screen because it makes it really easy to see. For a little car, this has a good lineup of safety features, including autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping aids, reversing camera, and front and rear parking sensors, to name a few. It has 7 airbags, including curtain airbags covering the back row, and it was nice to see that it has a front center airbag that's starting to appear on newer cars. The Polo has a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating, and it was tested in 2022, so it's still fresh and shiny. The official combined fuel consumption is 5.4 litres per 100 Ks, and I achieved the same on a mixture of highway heavy and school run type trips. And while my situation might be different from a family living in the city, the fuel economy is one of the most attractive aspects of this car, which is good because it only takes premium petrol and has a relatively small tank at 40 litres. Alright, I've given you a fair bit to think about up to this point, so let's talk money. This is the base model and will cost you around $28,000 before on-road costs. You do get some good features though, like the 15-inch two-tone alloy wheels, LED daytime running lights and headlights, and the turbo petrol engine, as well as a rear braking system that should stop you from bumping into things at low speeds.
This model is fitted with the Vision and Tech package, which adds adaptive cruise control with driver assist, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and sat-nav as well. This adds an extra $1,700 to the price, but those features are pretty good to have, so the little bit extra is worth it for me.
This is a very tidy package for under $30,000, and if you're after something small for your day-to-day errands, this could just be the ticket. The Polo comes with 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty, which is standard, but it only comes with 1-year roadside assistance.
There is a 3- and 5-year cap price servicing plan that can be pre-purchased and will save you money compared to the pay-as-you-go option. For the 5-year plan, servicing averages $430 though, which is expensive for the class.
Servicing intervals are every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first, which is pretty good. So did this pass the family life test? For my family of 3, yes, it'd be sufficient. But I think I would want more space if this was going to be the sole family car. I would be reluctant to take this on long family road trips because of the space and the seat comfort. And if I had a child in a rearward facing child seat and still needed to use a pram, personally, I wouldn't be considering this. You can get bigger cars for a little bit extra cash. I think it would be worth the extra money. All in all, the Volkswagen Polo Life is nice to drive, the fuel econ is awesome, and you can park it anywhere. But that space factor is a biggie for me with kids, so it earns a 7 out of 10. My son has a thing for colours and was won over completely by the purple, but even he mentioned how small it was inside and he gave it a 9 out of 10. If you want to know more, my full review is at the CarsGuide site and the link is in the description. See you next week.